Hello, I'm Montserrat. Welcome to the Yoga Therapy Institute. Today I'm going to talk about the subject of flow in a class. So depending on what lineage and what your training that you have received, you're going to normally, in general, start the class sitting in a position as I am right now. Now, I'm fully supported because, of course, I'm a yoga therapist and I know that support is important. But regardless of that, we're going to be sitting on the floor and then we're going to open the session in silence, arrival. And then from here, maybe, as I said, depending on what practice you're used to, you're maybe going to go on the hands and knees, maybe you're going to go standing, or maybe you're going to begin from standing and then you're going to be going on your hands and knees, eventually onto the floor, and finally lying down on Shavasana. So what about if I say to you that this kind of flow that you've always followed without even questioning it might be not a good idea for some of your clients and students, and I'm going to invite you to experiment and to work out different ways and explore on how you can offer them a more productive and a better experience of yoga. So I work with a lot of clients, and one of my clients happens to be rather obese. She suffers from obesity, and in her case, sitting down on the floor is quite tricky, it's quite difficult. And in fact, she finds it hard to come up again. So when I just met her, going down on the floor was a little bit embarrassing for her because she couldn't come up and it was awkward and her knees were really hurting and she had to go on her hands and knees. So she also confessed, and she told me that she spent long hours sitting in the couch. So what am I going to do? The last thing I'm going to do is actually take her to the floor where it's going to be a little bit embarrassing. It's not going to be very delicate to get her to stand up with certain positions. I don't want to push her up or pull her up. And also, we're not going to do practices. We're going to be sitting down, which is something that she does all day. So in her case, we did the whole practice standing. So we stood up, we do the practices, and guess what? We closed the session standing as well. So we were able to stand up and put our hands on the heart center, thank each other, do a little sankalpa, a little practice, do a little bit of movement, and this is how we started and we finished the session. In other cases, for example, I have a client who has symptoms of depression and burnout. So what happens to her is that whenever she lies down on the floor, she finds it really hard to come up. Shavasana is really tricky for her because she falls asleep really deeply, but actually her symptoms of depression come to the surface and she gets extremely sad and she cries, and grounding in this case is really not a very good idea for her. It took me a couple of sessions to realize this. So in her case, we never finished the sessions in Shavasana. We finished sitting down, sitting on the chair, sometimes even standing with some dynamic movements. And at the end of the class, she was invigorated and she did not show the symptoms of depression. So what I'm trying to say here and to share with you is that I am never fixed on how I'm going to start a class and how I'm going to finish them. First of all, we're going to find out what's going on with our client, find out what's going on even with a small group. Is the class really tired? Is the group energy very hyper? So what are we going to do? Are we going to start standing, finish lying down? Are we going to start lying down, for instance? I had a client who came to the yoga therapy sessions extremely exhausted and broken from chemotherapy treatment. So when she would come in, she was so tired that we had a little chat, and all we did was to begin lying down in Shavasana with a little bit of Yoga Nidra. Then when she came out of Yoga Nidra with a little bit of movement, rotation of the joints, and then after the rotation of the joints, we were able to sit down because she had had a rest. Take a moment to consider what your clients need. Try to observe in your class what it is suitable for them. Try to explore different forms, different ways. How are we going to begin today? How are we going to end today? It's not about randomly changing the flow, but about really attuning with what your clients and students need, and then finding out and applying what really and what tools are actually going to be suitable for them in that moment. So standing, sitting, maybe sitting on a chair, whatever it is that's suitable for them. Try not to be fixed on one protocol. Yoga therapy does not follow a protocol. Yoga therapy is adapted to the individual. Thank you for listening. If you're interested in more tips like this, please watch us, subscribe to the Yoga Therapy Institute, the official Yoga Therapy Institute channel, and I look forward to seeing you there soon. Take care.